Welcome to This Week in Morgan County. I'm your host, Russell Mokhiber. Our guest today is Amie Middlekauff. Amie's the manager at the Berkeley Springs Farmers Market here in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Amie, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, Russell.
We're going to be doing a deep dive into the farmers market. It's very popular here in West Virginia, here in Morgan County, and we want to know about a lot about what's happening. Let's start with nuts and bolts. Where is the farmers market?
The farmers market is located on Fairfax Street and 522, downtown Berkeley Springs.
Okay, and when is it open?
We operate April through mid-December on Sundays from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. And we have a Thursday market that is located one block over on 522 and Liberty Street. That's 2 to 5 for July and August.
All right. Who are the vendors at the market? How many do you have? What do they sell, generally speaking?
We have 15 vendors at the Berkeley Springs Farmers Market right now, and they are local farmers in our area or within 100 miles from us, and they're everywhere from honey, beekeepers to specialty crop producers, fruits and vegetables.
All right. I have, you gave me a list here of vendors, and there's a lot available. Mm-hmm. And it's not just summer. So people think farmers market, summer. But you're going to be open this week and next week and the following week all the way through December.
Yes.
Okay. Now, let's just go down the list. Who are your big producers? Who are the people who sell a lot of stuff?
Our largest producers would be Glasscock's Produce, and they have apples year-round, and then they also are a big producer of sweet corn and canned good like apple butter. Dave Elliott with Blue Mountain Farm, mm-hmm. He is a distributor for Trickling Springs Dairy. He also is an egg producer and does specialty crops.
And Dave, when you go to Dave, he's got these spectacular yogurts and eggs and milk products.
Yes.
So he's known for that, right?
He's known for his chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk, right. Does anybody sell meat products?
Yeah, we have a farm that joined us this year. It's Savage River Farm, mm-hmm. and they're out of Garrett County, Maryland, and they produce heritage breed meat. So they raise grass-fed beef, rabbits, and have pork.
All right, now people think in Morgan County, if you're going to go shopping for food, you have to go to Food Lion. It's the only supermarket in town. I guess other places you could get food is canned food at the dollar store. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do that. Sheets, some gas stations have food, but there really aren't a lot of options.
Correct.
So this gives people options for food. Now, why would you say people should shop at the farmers market as opposed to, well, they're going to shop at Food Lion anyway, but why the farmers market as opposed to Food Lion, for example?
Well, your produce that you're going to purchase at your farmers market is going to be a lot fresher than produce you would buy from a big box grocery store. Also, you're going to put the money right back into your economy by stimulating, a local business. Also, our program at our farmers market, we accept SNAP, so we are approved to accept the federal food stamp program, and we actually double people's money. So up to $25 we'll match dollar for dollar for the federal food stamp program, so they have more access to local food.
Now, in a previous show, we heard that poverty in the schools here is about 60%. So there is a lot of poverty here.
Yes.
And what you're saying is that people on food stamps have an option to Food Lion. They can go and use it here. And I don't know the details of what you just said, but how much money can be spent? How much in food stamps can be spent at a farmer's market for a family, for example?
They can spend as much as they would like at our farmer's market. If they spend $25, we give them $50 to spend. So they end up with double the amount. It's a coupon program. However, we can accept food stamps in any denomination.
Right. Because I really didn't understand until you just said that. So if you come in with $25 of food stamps, mm-hmm. the farmers market has a program that will give them an additional 50?
25.
An additional 25?
Yes.
Okay, so you can double your purchasing power at the farmers market?
Correct.
Okay, and where does that money come from? Is that a state program?
The Morgan County Association for Food and Farms, they go out and they look for donations for that. We did receive a grant this year or funds from the town of Bath for that. However, last year we matched $2,500. So we're constantly in the community trying to fundraise.
Is what part of the amount that's being spent at the farmers market is coming from food stamps?
It's a very small percentage when you look at total sales, but it, again, is another avenue of income for our farmers and to increase healthy eating options for the local community.
All right. Now, people want to come to the farmers market from the region. Where can they park? Is there free parking on the street or close by?
On Sundays, there is free parking on the streets. You do not have to pay the meters. And then also, right next to the farmers market, there's a parking lot owned by the Catholic Church that they allow us to have people park in.
All right. I'm just going down actually through you have a great website, by the way.
Thank you.
Very well done. I don't know who did it, but there's a lot of good information. Let's go down some of the frequently asked questions. I'm at the farmer's market, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yes.
There's no porta potty at the farmer's market. Where can I go?
Across the street in the Berkeley Springs State Park, there's public restrooms that they're able to use.
Okay. This is not on frequently asked questions, but it's a question that came to my mind. I'm at the farmer's market Sunday morning, I want a cup of coffee. How come there's no coffee at the market?
We currently have not been able to get a coffee vendor at our market. We had when they dropped off. We're working with Black Dog Coffee to hopefully get their business to come into our market. There's Fairfax Street Coffee House right down the street. There's a Sheetz gas station, Roy's Service Center. There's plenty of places downtown to walk to get coffee.
Okay. I'm an organic farmer. You say you're booked now. You have 15 or so vendors. You can't accept anybody else. But there's 1 week where I have organic blueberries and I want to sell organic blueberries. Can I fit in just for a week?
Yeah, during the summer months, we run a community consignment booth. The booth is set up in a 10 by 10 space, and it's open to anyone in the community that has surplus produce that they are wishing to sell. We're hoping to attract the next generation of farmers and introduce them to marketing their products there. So you could come in, it's a 75-25 split. And we'll
what does that mean? What does that mean?
The market keeps 25% to cover operating costs, and we will market and sell your products for you.
Okay. Now, is that 75-25 hold for the regular vendors?
No.
No, they get to keep everything.
They get to keep everything. They're charged a daily rate.
And what is that?
$10 for a
$10.
10-foot space.
Okay. Because one of the things, I'm a regular and a big fan of the farmer's market, and sometime this summer I showed up and there's a guy who's a family, he was a homeschooler, he had his kids out there, and he had these spectacular blueberries.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, that's really good. And I had never seen him there before. But he came back for a couple weeks. How did that work? Was that part of this thing you were just describing?
Yeah, that was part of the community consignment booth. His wife, Melissa, had reached out to me and said that they had a surplus of blueberries that her homeschool group and a couple other homeschool families had put these plants in 5 years ago on a project, and they were booming in production and they had a surplus. So we invited them to come in, and as part of the educational activity for her homeschool group, she wanted to set up their own little farm stand. We still did all of the financial transactions for them, but the kids were able to get the experience selling in the farmers market.
I do know that a lot of mainstream supermarkets take pride in selling locally grown produce. I think it happens at Martin's, and you go around the region, and there are, but it's not the case for Food Lion.
No.
Why not? Why won't Food Lion sell locally grown produce? Have you approached them on behalf of your farmers in this market to do so?
I've never approached Food Lion myself to ask them. I have asked our vendors if any of them have ever sold to Food Lion, and I was told once they bought a bushel of apples from a vendor, but beyond that, they've never purchased any local food that I'm aware of.
So if you want to support the local economy and the local farmers who are doing this, then buy from the farmer's market. That's probably your only option, or a local farmer. Do farmers set up booths around the county? Do you know if that's the case, to sell their own foods?
A lot of the farmers participate in other farmers markets. Some are in Maryland, some are in the DC and Virginia area. A lot of them will sell from their farms too.
Now, the Berkeley Springs Farmers Market is one of many in West Virginia. There's actually a Farmers Market Association.
Yes.
And tell us about the Farmers Market Association, how many farmers markets there are in West Virginia, and which are the main ones in the Eastern Panhandle?
The Farmers Market Association is a nonprofit group dedicated to helping farmers markets succeed in West Virginia. In our region, I want to say that Berkeley Springs Farmers Market and Charlestown Farmers Market are the closest two. Up here in the Panhandle, and Romney Farmers Market that participate with the WVFMA. There are a total of 95 farmers markets in West Virginia currently. There's been this boom over the last 10 years where a lot have popped up.
How many people, I know it's very popular because when I go it's always packed. How many people attend every week?
On average, about 700 to 800 people are going to walk through our market a week.
And how many are buying?
We attract about 45 to 60% of them to be shoppers.
Okay. And so, for example, you mentioned to me earlier that 27,000 or so, there were 27,000 visitors last year.
Yes.
And this year, what do you project? That you'll beat that number, and what do you think it's going to be?
I think that we're going to be pretty close with that number. I do know we'll surpass it a little bit because we're already at about 22,000 to date, and we still have 3.5 months to go.
Right.
So.
Let's say you want to bring your puppy to the market. I know it's a contentious issue because we're talking food and sanitation. What's the rule on bringing a dog to the market?
Pets are welcome to come to the farmers market. However, you need to be aware as a pet owner that you're entering into a business that sells food and food items. So we ask that dogs are not in any booth that has food in it, and to be mindful to keep them on a short leash and pay attention to how other customers are shopping. Just be considerate with it, and then clean up after your dog.
Because not everybody who goes to a market wants to be. Not every human being is puppy friendly. That's
true. That's true, and not every dog can be left inside a vehicle. So we understand that there will be dogs there, and it is a public space. So we just I kind of monitor. I'm the dog police at the market, and just kind of monitor.
And it would be a little gross if the puppy did its business right on the main thoroughfare where someone's buying tomatoes.
It would be.
Has that happened?
That has not happened to me, no.
Well, you mentioned the cleanup, and I saw on your website, if it happens, clean it up.
Yeah, I don't ever want to have to clean it up.
But have you seen like it happen and someone clean it up?
Yes.
Okay.
In the grassy areas, in the median.
The other issue which I've faced at farmers markets is the question of free speech.
Yes.
Political petitioning, talking to people about politics.
Yep.
How do you think that, what we used to do when we did it was we would stand out front or we'd walk by and not actually interrupt people while they're engaged in the transaction, but take them aside if they're not purchasing, that kind of thing. Is that kind of thing work? Or I know the Farmers Markets Association must have dealt with this, and they must have rules or something or talked about it. What are the rules, and where do you think it's going?
If you look at our vendor packet for the Berkeley Springs Farmers Market, we're not going to give space to someone to come in to talk about politics or religion. However, this is a public meeting space. This is where people meet during the week, and it's a large population of local people. So I think it's a great opportunity to stand within the confines, outside of the borders of the market, or even be within the market and just in conversation with your fellow, citizens. I don't know of any strict rules or regulations. I think it's set per market.
Another big issue is, and this is an issue also for Berkeley Springs, not just for the market, is the truck traffic on 522. It's disruptive, it's dirty, it's spewing, pollutants onto the produce. What can be done, if anything, about that? Is it an issue for the farmers market?
It is an issue for the farmers market. The beginning portion of our market is right up against 522, and the truck noise is constant, so it's hard for vendors to interact with their customers. And then also we can't put any prepared food or any good portion of fruits and vegetables down there because you would not have sales.
Right. And have you approached the town at all about what can be done, or do you think anything can be done?
I have not approached the town personally on anything. I think that they need to look at a system for checking, trucks going through with the roads in Morgan County.
Right. Another big vendor, and we hope to have Paul Mock on the show sometime down the road, but Mock's, tell us what you know about Mock's operation here in Morgan County, and what does Mock sell at the farmers market?
Paul Mock is a hydroponic grower, and he produces lettuce and heirloom tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, and basil. And he sets up at our market. I think it's normally about May through October he joins our market, and they set up and sell their hydroponic products.
And he's also, he's one of the largest growers in Morgan County, right? He's taking it down to the DC Baltimore area, and as I understand it, do you know that to be the case?
I know he's the second largest hydroponic grower in West Virginia, and I do know that he participates in DC markets, but a lot of our other vendors do too.
These 15 that are at the market now, I mean, I'm wondering what the demand is. Are you turning away farmers who want to be there?
I have not turned away a farmer yet.
Okay, so if there's a farmer who wants to come and be there, you're going to find a way.
I'm going to find a way.
And what about space? Because it is pretty crowded. Where do you put them?
Well, we can.
Is there a place for expansion anywhere?
Currently, right now, we can't use the other side of the road. It remains a fire lane for the fire department to be able to come out at the light. So right now, expansion is kind of limited. And this is the first year for me that we're full capacity and we couldn't accept any new vendors.
Right. Often, one of the things I enjoy about the farmers market is the entertainment. You have magicians, you have musicians, you have comedians. And I'm wondering about it, if someone wants to participate in that, how do you regulate it? How do you decide who gets to play? And they're young kids playing music for money, often.
Yeah.
And as you say, it's an open space. And so how is that dealt with? How do you deal with that?
If a musician comes and plays at the market, I highly encourage it. I give them my cell phone number, tell them to text me and call me and let me know whenever they want to come. I hope to make a calendar, but we don't have such a demand that there's too many people coming. This year was the first time that I ever had 3 show up at once. However, I put one on one end, one on the other end, and the other guy ate lunch, and then they rotated, and they were all happy just jamming on the street, and we really appreciated the entertainment.
All right, and if people want to play, contact you, work out something, and it's going to be okay.
Yeah, my contact information's on the website.
Right. And what is the website, by the way?
It's www.berkeleyspringsfarmersmarket.org.
Okay. Now, you're doing public outreach, obviously, by giving interviews and so forth, but you have to be, are you a little concerned that the information's not getting out, but you could have a lot more people coming to the market? And how are you going to get more people to come to the market? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we started this year advertising a lot more, and we're using multiple sources of advertising. So currently, right now, we're about to start our holiday market after apple butter. So the third weekend in October is going to start our holiday market, and we're looking for vendors for that. So we're going to not only advertise in the local newspaper, but we're also going to use social media. We're going to use Facebook advertising. And Facebook advertising has been very successful for us.
When you say holiday market,
yes.
That will be the same 15 vendors who are there now?
It will not be. Some of the vendors who might produce tomatoes can't produce tomatoes in October. So for a holiday market, we're talking about crafts and artisan vendors in the area, local handmade items to come into the market to be sold for holiday gifts.
And that'll be holiday from when to when?
It'll be November through the middle of December.
And you also have you have a restaurant selling at the farmers market.
Yeah, Lot 12.
Is there anybody other than Lot 12 selling there?
Currently, no. Lot 12 is the only prepared food vendor.
And Lot 12 is an award-winning,
Yes.
restaurant based here in Berkeley Springs, and they take food there and they sell. What are they selling?
They sell grab-and-go items, but he also has a different menu that coordinates with the seasons because he uses a lot of local products himself. So he'll sell BLTs and chicken wraps and drinks.
And he's also very popular.
Damien is very popular, yes.
We had a guest on a couple weeks ago talking about poverty in Morgan County and donations of food. Mm-hmm. And she mentioned that at the end of the market every Sunday, food is donated to her organization, Starting Points.
Yes.
Tell us about that, and that is an issue within the farmers markets in West Virginia generally.
Yeah, that's called gleaning. And our
Gleaning?
Gleaning.
Gleening?
EAN.
Okay.
Yeah.
EA, okay.
Yeah. And it's gleaning, and what happens is at the end of the market, a volunteer from Starting Points comes with baskets, and she goes to each vendor's station and asks if there's anything left over that they'd like to donate, and most do. A lot of our larger ones, like Glasscock's Produce donates a lot, Dave Elliott with Blue Mountain donates a lot. The consignment booth, we tell people when they sign up that we participate in this program, so if they don't want to come back at the end of the day, they would like for us just to donate any items left over, we do that as well.
And you mentioned that before the show, you mentioned that the Berkeley Springs Farmers Market is one of only a handful, five that do that. Why do you think that's the case?
I think that it takes a lot of volunteer effort and a good community to do that, to have a successful gleaning program, because not only do you have to pick up the produce, you have to transport it, you have to wash it, and you do more to it than a bag of frozen cut green beans. You know, you're gonna have to wash and snap and cut those green beans. Mm-hmm. So it's a little more upfront work and volunteer hours.
On the Thursday market, are there the same 15 vendors? How many vendors are on the Thursday market?
Our Thursday market right now is only one vendor. I'm hoping to really do a push next year because we are a nonprofit organization. The farmers market's under McCaff, and I'm hoping to offer the Thursday market free to vendors next year to try to increase. I mean, we're limited on space there. It's not as large of a street, so we might be able to have 5, but 5 would be better than 1.
And thank you very much for coming in.